It all started on a quiet Saturday morning. I was sipping my coffee, looking out over my backyard, when I noticed something strange. My favorite tree, a beautiful old oak that shaded half my yard, was gone. Not trimmed, not damaged, gone. And in its place, a crumpled mess of metal, my tractor, crushed like a soda can. At first, I thought it was some kind of accident. Maybe a storm blew through overnight and I didn't hear it. But no, the weather was calm, and the rest of the yard was untouched. That's when I saw the little yellow notice pinned to my fence, and everything started to make sense, or at least it started to make me angry. Turns out, the HOA president, let's call her Karen, decided my tree was a safety concern. Without warning me, without even knocking on my door, she hired someone to cut it down. No permits, no paperwork, just a chainsaw and an attitude. And the worst part, she left the mess behind like it was my problem to deal with. The tractor wasn't just a tool, it was how I made my living. And now it was a twisted pile of scrap, all because someone thought they knew better than me about my own property. But this wasn't going to end with me staying quiet. What Karen didn't know was I had cameras, records, and a serious case of not letting this go. That was the moment I knew I had to fight back, and that's where this story really begins. So here I am, standing in my backyard, just staring at the mess. The tree wasn't even close to the property line. It was fully on my side, planted by my grandfather over 40 years ago. It had history, it had meaning. And now, thanks to Karen and her so-called community improvements, it was nothing but splinters. I couldn't wrap my head around it. No letter, no knock, no email, just gone. And the tractor. It was parked under that tree every day for years without a single issue. Until now. I started digging, figuratively, not literally. I pulled up the HOA guidelines, looking for anything that would justify what she did. Page after page of rules, but nothing that gave her the right to enter my yard without consent. The deeper I looked, the more questions I had. Why was she in such a rush to get rid of that tree? Who cut it? Was it someone she knew? I asked a few neighbors if they saw anything. One of them said they heard chainsaws early that morning, but didn't think much of it. Another said they saw Karen pacing near my fence the day before, phone in hand. That's when things started to feel off. It wasn't just about a tree or a broken tractor anymore. It felt personal, like a move in some game I didn't even know I was playing. And the more I looked around my yard, the more I realized this wasn't the first sign something weird was going on. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was going on. I started noticing little things, small changes around the neighborhood. A few other folks had landscaping done without asking for it. One neighbor's rose bushes were yanked out and replaced with gravel. Another had a brand new fence put up, even though they never ordered one. And every time, it all seemed to trace back to Karen and her new beautification plan for the HOA. No votes, no notices, just changes, whether people wanted them or not. I finally confronted her at the next HOA meeting. I brought photos of the damage, the crushed tractor, and even printed out the rules. She didn't even flinch. Said the tree was a liability, and she was acting in the community's best interest. She even implied I should thank her. The way she said it, like she was doing me a favor, made my blood boil. When I asked her for the name of the contractor who cut the tree, she claimed she didn't remember. That's when I knew something was being covered up. Behind the scenes, I started reaching out. A friend who used to work in code enforcement gave me a few tips. Another buddy with a drone helped me get footage of some of the other improvements Karen was pushing through. One pattern kept showing up. Every change made seemed to benefit a small group of people close to her. And if my tree was step 1, I had a bad feeling about what step 2 might be. Things escalated fast after that meeting. Word started spreading around the neighborhood, and I wasn't the only one fed up. A couple of neighbors came over quietly, saying they had their own run-ins with Karen, but were too nervous to speak up. One guy said she threatened to fine him for having non-regulation patio furniture. Another said she rejected his roof repairs 3 times for no clear reason. Everyone had a story, and they all pointed back to the same pattern: Karen using her HOA role like a personal power trip. I kept digging. Late one night, while going over security footage from my backyard, I spotted something I hadn't noticed before: 2 people, wearing reflective vests, slipping through the side gate the morning the tree was cut. One of them was definitely not a professional tree service. No trucks, no safety gear, nothing. Just 2 people and a chainsaw. That's when the full weight of it hit me. This wasn't just careless, it was reckless. My tractor could have killed someone if they'd been standing nearby. Karen didn't just break the rules, she put lives at risk. Then came the letter. Slipped under my door, no name, no return address. It said, "Don't push this any further. It's bigger than you think." My stomach dropped. I looked over my shoulder, half expecting someone to be watching from the shadows. That's when I realized this wasn't just about a tree or even the HOA anymore. Whatever Karen was covering up, I was getting closer to it, and someone clearly didn't want that. After that anonymous note showed up, I started watching my back. I double-checked the locks, added cameras to the front yard, and even parked my truck across the gate just in case. But the weird thing was, the more I backed off in public, the more I started seeing things fall apart on Karen's end. One of her close allies on the HOA board suddenly resigned. No warning, no explanation. A few days later, another neighbor told me he overheard Karen arguing with someone in her driveway late at night. He said it sounded like she was trying to keep them quiet. Then came the twist I never saw coming. I finally tracked down the guy who helped cut the tree. A landscaper I recognized from a few houses over. I caught him outside unloading gear and casually asked about the tree job. At first, he played dumb. But then he let something slip. He thought Karen owned my property. That she told him I had already agreed to the removal. My jaw dropped. Karen told people I'd signed off on it, that I gave permission, but I hadn't even spoken to her in months. I pulled records from the county clerk's office just to be sure, and that's when I found something way bigger. There had been an attempt to file a boundary adjustment on my land, submitted weeks before the tree was cut. The name on the request? Karen. It was like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, this wasn't just about HOA power plays or broken property. Someone was trying to take my land, and they were willing to go a whole lot further than I ever imagined to do it. Once I saw that fake boundary request with Karen's name on it, I knew I had enough to take action. I gathered everything: photos, video footage, the forged document, and statements from neighbors. I brought it all to a real estate attorney, and within days, we filed a formal complaint with the county. Turns out, that land adjustment had already been flagged as suspicious, but no one had followed up, until now. And once I pushed it into the spotlight, the whole thing started to unravel. A county investigator showed up and confirmed what I suspected. Karen had been using her HOA position to manipulate property lines for months, slowly trying to claim land from different neighbors, most of whom never noticed because the changes were small and buried in paperwork. My tree wasn't just in the way, it was the final piece she needed to push the fake boundary through without anyone questioning it. And when the tractor got crushed, that was just collateral damage. Within a week, Karen was removed from the HOA board. The county began a full investigation, and legal action was taken. I got an apology letter from the city, and even though my tractor was a total loss, the case opened the door for damages. I thought that would be the end of it. But just when things were settling down, I got one last message, this time from someone claiming to be a former HOA board member. The message read, "Karen wasn't working alone. You only saw the surface." And just like that, the story took one more turn. After that final message, I sat with it for a while. I didn't dig deeper, not yet. Honestly, I needed a break. The whole experience had drained me. What started as a tree being cut without permission turned into a full-on land scheme: lies, forged documents, and a web of HOA corruption I never imagined existed in my own neighborhood. But in the end, the truth came out. Karen was held accountable. The county officially reversed a fake boundary request. I got a settlement for the damages, and most importantly, my property and my peace was protected. The HOA has since been restructured. A few honest neighbors stepped up and took leadership roles. Meetings are open and transparent now. We even got new bylaws in place to prevent anything like this from happening again. It's far from perfect, but it feels like a start. As for Karen, she disappeared from the neighborhood not long after the investigation started. Rumor has it she moved out quietly in the middle of the night. No goodbye, no explanation. Looking back, I've learned more than I ever wanted to about HOA laws, property lines, and the lengths some people will go for power. But I also learned the value of standing your ground, trusting your gut, and speaking up, especially when it's uncomfortable. This wasn't just about a tree or a tractor. It was about control, integrity, and knowing when to say enough. So if you're dealing with an overreaching HOA or a neighbor like Karen, document everything, ask questions, and don't back down. You never know what's hiding beneath the surface.